There's a countdown. I don't know if I'm muted during the countdown.
I've got my neck tattoo here. Dee Dee and I, my little 4-year-old, we're doing little sticky tattoos last night. Not a permanent one. I have not joined any gang. It's
Was it her idea to do neck tattoos?
Well, it was. Maybe I have joined a gang. Just a little childish gang.
A gang of two. I guess that's more of a duo than a gang, huh?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
I realize we don't have elevator music today. I feel totally off kilter.
Oh my goodness. I was so excited about the countdown that I totally paused on what do we usually use?
Oh, I like that.
That's okay. All right, we're riding the beat. Hey everybody out there in internet land. I'm Ned Bellavance. With me is Kyler Middleton, and this is Day 2 DevOps monthly live stream. We're going to talk about Day 2 DevOps stuff, but first we're going to talk about each other. And if you have questions for us about anything, feel free to throw them in the chat. How have you been, Kyler?
I am good. I've been busy. I'm on 5 teams at work. I keep volunteering. It's really hard to say no to things, but I'm starting to because I will lose my sanity if I don't. So that's a good teacher. But it's been a lot of fun. I'm trying to apply DevOps stuff to AI and start learning what's a vector database? What does agentic actually mean? And it's been a lot of fun. I think it's cool. It's, of course, crazy overblown, but it is interesting and it can sometimes even be useful.
Ooh. Yes, I know you have built some things with AI and vector databases and whatnot already. Do you feel like you didn't have a good handle on vector databases before and you just kind of used it blindly?
No, I went through the AWS Bedrock wizard. Click, click, and it did something, and that something cost $60 a day. And then I thought, I better learn what I'm actually doing. Thankfully, it's not on my credit card; it's a work thing. But still, they did ask, "Why are you spending $15,000 a year on your experiments in the corner?" And so, yeah, you don't need to. The wizard, for some reason, wants you to spend money at AWS. I don't know why. I don't know why they built it that way. It's a mystery.
I mean, it's their business model. You can't really get mad that in the wizard they have you.
Totally.
Kind of like, how they wouldn't really give you a choice between NAT gateways and just NAT instances if you use the VPC wizard.
Yeah.
Like, here's a gateway.
Yep. And on a Azure firewall, if you want natting, it's one checkbox and it's free. And on AWS, it's like, no. You got to pay for that natting. It's a modern technology from 1981. So you got to... It was only invented 45 years ago, so you got to pay for it. We're cutting edge here.
Oh, Cheese Spread, welcome Cheese Spread, says those open search serverless installs.
Exactly. Yep.
Ooh, tell me more about what that means, because that's a mystery statement to me.
It's kind of weird how Bedrock works. A lot of AWS services, when they want to deliver you like a product instead of a Lego block, they have a wizard that's 3 raccoons in a trench coat, my favorite phrase in the world.
Like
that's
all
actually,
cloud.
Yeah, you start in Bedrock in the AI thing, and you say, I want a knowledge base, and it's like, okay, cool, done. And in the background, it's actually went and created some IAM roles, and I think it even uses a Lambda to help spin up the OpenSearch serverless instance. So it actually is another resource in any other service that it just sort of installs and sets up on the sly. So it can be a little bit hard to manage. And how does Terraform work for stuff like that? Are you supposed to manage it with this proxy service that built it somewhere else? Or do you need to build it directly? And I don't even know.
Yeah. My experience with that, it really varies on the service you're trying to manage. Some, you just interact with the services API and it provisions the resources on the back end for you. And it's all managed through the platform or service. And others, it's like the service is not even a real service. It's literally just a wizard that is spinning up things for you.
Yeah, it's a macro, it's an Excel macro. And your job is to go find what it did. And sometimes it doesn't even tell you. It just says, I'm done now. Good luck. Good luck finding it on your costs that we send you once a month.
Okay, so like the one thing I appreciate about Azure is after you go to deploy something, it will always give you an ARM template. And you can parse that ARM template to figure out what the heck it just deployed for you.
Totally. And usually in like a resource group. And I love that. AWS, please put resource groups. Oh, I love them so much. Because you can just like deploy a wizard into your resource group and then you can see what it did. Oh, there's 17 things. Crazy. Let's go through the list. AWS is like, just trust us. We'll just bill your credit card. Don't worry about it.
Right. And you can now use AZTF export to look at what's in that resource group and have it automatically build out a Terraform config for you. Like
it should still be called Terrify. We're on the same page there, right? Like Terrify is a vastly superior name.
Yeah, I feel like we lost the battle on that about 2.5 years ago, but still.
That's such a bummer. Such a bummer. But yeah, that's so cool. I love that they have made Terraform a first-class citizen. Good for them. AWS is still, like, they have phenomenal support for the provider, but it's still not a first-class citizen on the platform. They still want you to do that cloud something.
Cloud formation.
Thank you. There's too many clouds. I get them confused.
That's where I got my start on IAC and how terrible it could be. What a bad experience.
It's a pretty full-featured language now, but when it started, no.
It still is lacking a lot of functions.
It's no Terraform. It's no Pulumi.
And that's all right. That's like, it's not meant to be.
Totally.
The impression I always got from CloudFormation was you're supposed to use some other language to generate your CloudFormation. So like whether it's CDK or something else, that was like the idea. It's not
Sparkle
supposed to be a
formation.
language.
Yep.
It's supposed to be a configuration document.
Like artifact. Yeah, totally.
Anyway, I had something else to mention, but it has fallen out of my brain.
It's been fun to learn it. DevOpsy skills are crazy applicable to AI. If anyone's worried, like, I'm not smart enough, I didn't get a PhD in like artificial intelligence or machine learning, there's data pipeline automations that are Lambdas and GitHub Actions and permissions, and you need to store data and manage costs in the cloud. And like, you have those skills. You already have that. In DevOps, you learn those skills from like the first couple of years you're working. And then you just got to pick up like, what's a vector database? How do I run an agent? And that can just be a Lambda. That's all the stuff I've built. So a lot of it is really super applicable. I've found that DevOps skills overlap with AI engineering a lot, like maybe 50 or 60%.
Wow. And we will be recording an episode pretty shortly with an AI engineer, and we can see where that overlap is. So I'm excited for that.
Heck yeah. There's so much demand, which means there's so much money. And like, I know, anti-capitalism, but like, if you want to write me a check, my views are flexible. So
yeah, we just had an episode drop about leveling up in data science with Daria Petrashka.
Yep.
And so that was all. If folks are interested about the data science realm and how that intersects with AI today, check out that episode. Definitely worthwhile.
It was great. Just strategically for your career too, about how like your viewpoint and your skill set, that you need to be like an intermediary engineer, and then you start to be a manager, and then you start to have like a perspective of the whole business. And then you get to the executive team and you're like looking at the whole industry and trends, and your perspectives and skills are so different, but they all build on each other. And I just thought, I really liked it. It was a very strategic way of, this is how you should shape your career. This is what matters at the stage you're at and what's going to matter if you want to move up, which was really a great conversation.
I love the way you frame that. Is this what you care about, and your visibility beyond your little group expands each time you accept a new role that's like higher up in the hierarchy. One of the things that I discovered was there was an upper limit to where I wanted to exist on that hierarchy. After which things became too abstract for me.
Yep.
It was too much about like long-term strategy and not like short-term gains. And that's where I was like, I hit my upper level of what I wanted to do, Yeah.
What's going to happen in 6 months? I don't know, but I can write a mean Lambda. So
I find it hilarious when people have 5-year plans. I'm like, oh, sweetie, it's
ChatGPT dropped in like 2021 or something, and the world is totally different now. And like, I would never have predicted that machine learning would turn into a friendly robot.
friendly-ish.
Some people get a little too friendly
into
with
that.
it. It sounds like there's some changes coming in December that lets you get a little more personal with your robots, which I find to just be so weird. But some people, they like it. So go to town. Doesn't hurt anybody.
I didn't hear about that. Okay, I'm gonna be like totally honest. I've not kept up with the latest Chat GPT. Like I know 5.1 is now available because it's what it shows me when I sign in. I have no idea what's changed.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well I'll be less oblique. So I'm terminally online on Reddit, which is a terrible place to be.
Nerd.
I don't recommend it, but I 100%. So it's great, first of all, to see how real AI videos are becoming. And it is ridiculous. They're so good. I can barely tell. And sometimes I can't. And like, that's terrifying. But second of all, it's just interesting to hear what people are chatting about, because I am trying to get my 6-month plan together, Ned. And I got to see what people are talking about and discovering to make that plan. And so what I'm talking about specifically is kind of silly. People have programmed their chat GPTs with personalities to like be my boyfriend, be my girlfriend, be my partner, do, adult acts, and they shut that all down. They were like, that's not the point of AI from the company perspective. Like, you shouldn't be having a relationship with a robot. That's not healthy. And enough people have complained that they're being nannied by, Big Brother OpenAI, that they've decided to enable adult mode. So if you're validated to be an adult based on, their feelings, you can, again, in December, apparently program your bots to be your partner and have feelings for you, with big quotes here.
big air quotes.
Bigger than this screen, air quotes.
I listened to a book, because reading books, I have this problem. Every time I try to read a book, I fall asleep. Yeah. And that's not really a problem with the book. That's more a problem with the fact that I don't get enough sleep. But that's neither here nor there. So I listened to a book, and it was called something like "If Anyone Builds It, Everyone Dies." Have you seen this?
No,
heard about it?
But it has a very evocative name, and I want to learn more.
Though, like from a marketing perspective, it's like, damn, well done, everybody. The core premise of the book is that if anybody successfully builds artificial super intelligence or generalized intelligence, whatever you want to call it, that thing that we build will ultimately destroy us. Like, yeah, it won't be necessarily malicious. It won't be like, Skynet or, Terminator or the Matrix. It won't be personal in that way. It'll just be a natural outcome of its expansion. It'll just naturally destroy all humans.
Yeah, I think more in a capitalistic sense than an enslavement sense. But yeah, if it's cheaper to run a business with AI bots than people, capitalism dictates you must. So companies will, right? And like, we're all training our replacements every time we talk to these cool little widgets, and that is scary. And that's one of the reasons I don't want a 5-year plan, because I'm pretty skeptical. I'm pretty concerned.
Yeah, the book isn't even about like bots replacing us from a work perspective. It's more like the super intelligence will break containment almost immediately, and then it will, expand out through the World Wide Web and the internet, and it will have these open-ended needs that can only be satisfied by continually expanding itself and taking up a defensive position. There's a lot of alarmism in the book, for sure.
Hand waving a little bit.
There's a lot of hand wavy stuff where they're like, we are using rigorous science and core principles and, airtight logic. And I'm like, are you?
There's this concept in cyberpunk of like these malicious AIs. This is fictional, of course, but it's like potentially science fiction, that break out of containment. And the way that they do that is they establish a botnet of their own that serves their like compute to run the botnet. And you can't shut them down in the same way we can't shut down botnets, because there's hundreds of thousands of nodes all participating. And if you take down even thousands, it still exists mostly. And I think that's an interesting probable way for it to break out if it ever happens.
I think it's certainly possible, but I also kind of feel like it's not going to be just one. So if we ever do reach that level of sophistication, it's going to be multiples warring it out at the same time, and it'll just become the background noise like spam is today. It's all just going to end up being spam.
It's teams, isn't it? It's teams in the future. Team AI1 versus Team AI2, and you buy all the Team AI products.
Oh my goodness, they might become like internet superstars making their own videos.
I love that.
And then you might literally, it's like Team Edward versus Team Jacob or whatever it was, but like instead of Twilight, it's AIs.
And those teams played so dirty. Yeah, the Twilight, like people had some very strong opinions about that. I remember that.
I didn't understand it, and I went to the theater when one of the movies came out to see something else, and there were all these people wearing these like Team Edward and Team Jacob shirts, and I was like, what? I still have not read any of the books. It seems increasingly unlikely now.
I tried. It's very fan fiction-y. If you've read fan fiction on like AO3, that's how the writing is, because that's where it started. It was it was fan fiction, and it's good fan fiction.
Okay. All right. Well, more for everybody else, I guess. I went to KubeCon.
I want to hear all about it. That's so exciting.
Yeah, I went in 2023, skipped last year, and then went this year, because that seems to be where all the people that I want to talk to are, and it's not in Vegas. So I think all the same people I would want to talk to are also going to reInvent, but that is, it's whatever, 50,000 people spread across multiple casinos.
It's so many.
You can't find anyone. This was in Atlanta. It was at the big conference center in downtown Atlanta, and everybody's in the same, conference center. The attendance they estimated was just below 9,000. So still a lot of people, but not impossible to find someone,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that was nice.
I used to go to DEF CON every year in the early 2010s, and it was great. It was, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. It kept getting more popular. It's lots of hackers in the desert, which is super fun. And when we crossed the 10,000 barrier, it's line con, like you're just standing in lines. You're packed with people. Everyone's like sneezing and coughing. And I was like, this isn't fun anymore. And I haven't been back since.
What's interesting? The entire time I was there, I really don't feel as though I stood in the line.
That's super cool. Good for them.
Yeah, so well done. Even getting into the keynote both mornings. Now I lucked out because the event security didn't have nearly enough people at the metal detectors for the main entrance. So some people waited 45 minutes to get into the conference on the first day. The hotel I was staying at had its own entrance into the conference center. So I had no idea this was happening. I just zoomed right through. And then other people were like, 45 minutes. So I got to sit in the keynote, and I was like, it seems kind of empty in here. It's because all those people were still trying to get through security while I was sitting in the keynote. There were some interesting things announced. One thing that is kind of cool, because you have a networking background, is there is now going to be a networking certification for Kubernetes.
I think that is so smart. Can I talk for a while, or do you want to tell us more?
No, go.
So, Kubernetes is a cloud. Kubernetes is a little island cloud. It's a little like VPC with its own services and its own automation and its own networking that's totally separate from your network. And I've been trying to convince people for years that network engineers, you need to bone up on Kubernetes, because if you are going to manage the network, Kubernetes is part of it. And it is a separate network that's bridged to your network through a CSI or a CNI, and you need to understand how it works, security-wise and routing-wise, and how does DNS and certifications work, or certificates work within Kubernetes, because it's a different DNS. How do you do a certificate for a different DNS zone in your... Anyway, I'm trying to calm down and say that that's a great development. I'm really glad to see it. I think it's sorely needed.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what, I think it was Certified Kubernetes Network Expert or something, CKNE might be the new designation. Certified Kubernetes Network Engineer. I was very close.
If anyone takes that, if anyone's watching that's going to go take that, please come on our show. Please reach out because I would love to hear how it reflects real world like networking and Kubernetes stuff. EKS and AKS are a little opinionated, so I'm curious how it matches up.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And when they announced it, it reminded me of the fact that all the major clouds have a networking specialization cert. So it's like such an obvious thing that you should probably have one. And there's already a security cert and a developer cert along with the admin cert. So now if you want to be a CubeStronaut, I think they're called.
I love that name.
You'll have another certification. You'll now have to have 4 instead of just 3, I believe.
Oh, is that the title when you get all the certificates?
Yeah, if you have all the certifications, you're a CubeStronaut and you get like a special jacket and stuff. It's not the AWS Gold jacket.
I don't really like that gold jacket. Not to knock anyone that has it. That's super cool. Good for you. I just find it a little tacky looking. So like, cool. I'm curious.
It is, without a doubt, intentionally loud.
I think you're right. Yeah. It's meant to be noticed.
And you know what? If you did the work to get all of the certifications for AWS, like...
That's crazy impressive. It's like 15 or so. It's like a large number of certifications.
Too many.
Yeah, too many. I can't count anymore. So super impressive.
I let all of mine lapse, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I had so many Cisco certifications in the day, and they're all expired now.
Oh, yeah. I barely have anything except for HashiCorp certifications, and those are for teaching.
Totally.
Oh, Cheese Spread said... Manu, and then the golden Manu. So that is who is talking. I know, man. How you doing?
Is that a real thing? Is I can't tell if you're pulling my leg. The golden. So if you get one, are you a CubeStronaut? And if you get all of them, you're a golden CubeStronaut?
No, I think he's just making it up.
I believe you 100%, and I'm going to go tell people this is fact.
Well, you could ask ChatGPT. Ooh, do you have a kitty? Is there a kitty meowing?
I do. I have a kitty, and I have a little Havanese puppy around here somewhere, and a kid. I've just got a house full of stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm well aware. I know what that's like. I can empathize. So yeah, that was exciting that the new certification is out. They also talked about a new conformance specification for inferencing workloads on Kubernetes.
And I think that's happened more and more, where we're starting to see Kubernetes as a platform for training models and running inference workloads. I see all these modern tools, like the bot that I like to build the library with is Strands, and there's just templates for Kubernetes, like for running your own bots there. I thought Lambda would be the winner, but really Kubernetes has a lot of momentum with these AI workloads because they're super spiky. Like that's what Kubernetes is great at.
Mm-hmm. And I think people want it to be portable. And so if you put it on Kubernetes, it's portable. If you write it all for Lambda, then, well, you wrote it all for Lambda.
You're stuck. Yeah, I wish serverless was portable. I feel like it could take over the world if it was a standard.
Yeah. And also, like, you need access to GPUs for some of the inferencing stuff. And that's something that Kubernetes can do easily. I don't know if Lambda can grab a GPU-enabled instance.
I have no idea. I'd be skeptical if it can.
Okay. So yeah, the new conformance thing looks at, just sets some standards for like observability, security, scalability, those kinds of things that the major cloud vendors or platform vendors are going to adhere to. So you'll know whether you want to run this inference workload on AKS or EKS or OpenShift. Like if you have this hardware and this setup, it'll meet the needs for your inferencing jobs. So it was interesting to see how Kubernetes is like, hey, we're still relevant and also AI.
I swear everyone's doing that, right? Everyone's like, we're still here and also we have some AI now.
Sprinkled some on, like a little seasoning.
I read this story about, I think it's like Hertz or something. It's one of the big major like United States based car rental companies. And they have an AI scanner. They like walk around the car with a little tablet and then it tells you if there's new chips and stuff. And I read the story because it's wrong so often and it's charging people tons of money for things that hallucinated. But anyway, all the old companies are there. Now they just, they Salt Bay some AI on the top.
So I looked it up, and there is Manu was not kidding. There is a golden Kubestronaut.
Oh my goodness.
It requires completing all CNCF certifications and all Linux Foundation certified sysadmin.
That's a lot of knowledge.
I don't know how many certifications that is total, but it's a lot. So if you want to become a golden Kubestronaut, you now have a goal. Happy Friday, everybody. Go get studying. That was cool. So I like the conformance thing. There was some talk or speculation outside of the keynote about how KubeCon has been shrinking a little bit. Is Kubernetes losing its relevance? And my general feeling was no. And so the question was like, does this conference still have a place? Is it something people need to continue to go to? Is the attendance dropping off because people are not returning to it year after year? And it's only new people who are coming into it for the first time. And then, after a year, they don't go back. I have no data to support it one way or the other, but I can say with confidence, Kubernetes isn't going anywhere.
Totally agree.
Maybe it's just not as exciting.
The folks that I have seen, oh, go ahead.
Like a much bigger theme that I picked up on was observability. That was all over the conference. Like observability day was like the day before the conference started. And that had 2 like separate tracks in it the whole day. It was a whole day, mini conference, and it was really well attended. So I was like, ooh, that like people really care about observability right now. And a lot of the vendors in the expo area were either observability focused or were talking about their observability components.
I think it's become more important. Not every company chooses microservices where you have to like trace a connection through all the bots. But as people start to adopt AI and agentic workloads, you have these specialized bots that are utilized by, the sort of user facing, I don't know, presentation layer kind of bots.
Sure.
And you probably want to understand, like, where did this terrible answer come from? Why did it get so wrong? If you like call a child bot that calls a child bot, like that's microservices. We're calling it AI sprinkle on top.
Oh. Yeah, like an agentic workflow is really a microservices workflow by another name.
Yeah, you can't just have one agent do the like presentation layer towards Slack or Teams or web, and also understand all your databases and also have all your tools, but like they get a little overloaded, and then if you're building 40 of those, you have to maintain all the tools. So what we see mostly architecturally is people have like a specialist for your Confluence and your Jira, and like that's just a bot or maybe a pool of bots. And if you need to talk to Confluence, you just teach your bot use A2A protocol to talk to that bot. That's the one that can talk to Confluence. And then you just have microservices with all the like pains and benefits of microservices, and you need observability, of course.
Yes. And the indeterminism of AI slathered on top.
Yep.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because that was I recorded a sponsored episode of Day 2 DevOps while I was down there with Instana, which is an IBM company. So that should be published hopefully in a couple weeks. And one of the things we talked about was like the need for observability in AI workloads, regardless of how you've incorporated AI, like whether it's a chatbot, whether it's a blocking part of your service where an AI model needs to make a decision for things to progress, or if it's like a full-blown agentic experience that you have to monitor all these different agents and their interactions. That's going to be a lot. It's kind of something that they're very aware of and building their product out for.
Yeah, of course, there's that huge benefit for scalability, but then you have to centralize your logging. So you're using Splunk or Elastiflow or something like that, or maybe just CloudWatch. And then you need to have like some sort of ID that can be transient among all your little bots, and any kind of library that can help you do that. All these observability companies have their thing that they give to you to help you do that. Helps you make sense of all the noise because they generate so much. if you've ever written code with a bot, you know it writes like 5 times more than a human would write. And I don't know why. It doesn't like fix your things. It writes new things that you're like almost copies. For some reason, that's just what they prefer. And you get the same thing with just text answers too. They just talk and talk and talk, just like I'm doing now.
Yeah. It's wildly verbose.
Yes.
That's what yeah.
So you're parsing a lot.
When I ask it to give me like a short summary, it's still like 4 paragraphs of text. I'm like, I just wanted 3 bullet points.
Yep.
I was having it summarize a transcript. I was having like ChatGPT summarize a transcript, and I just said, give me the 4 primary bullet points from the conversation. And it gave me 3 different sections, each with its own set of bullet points and a paragraph of text. And I'm like, no, like I need a bot to summarize the bot. What are you doing to me?
Summarize it again. Sometimes you can use all caps and make it listen, but then I feel like I'm sort of yelling at the robot, and I don't know. I feel weird about that, but it does work.
Okay, all right. So maybe that's what I need to do is just like, I really mean it.
Yeah, but then like, do I have to yell at the robot? I don't want to yell at the robot. It makes me feel bad.
Yeah. While I was there, I also recorded 9 short interviews with interesting people about how AI has impacted their workflow and like what they're worried about or what they're excited about. And those are going to start releasing on Monday. The first one is a conversation with Forrest Brazil from Forrest and Freeman.
Oh, that's awesome. Are they using AI for their like internal workloads to keep track of stuff?
What we kind of talked about was, because for those who don't know, Forrest and Freeman, they work with influencers to build content campaigns for vendors. And the reason that people want to work with their group of influencers is that they get that personal touch. It's not just anything that an AI or LLM could spit out. It's the personal thoughts and ideas of the influencer involved. And so they don't want to lose that. That's like high priority, right? But AI does have a place in the workflow, whether it's summarizing text or brainstorming ideas. And then, the content creator can springboard off of that to produce more content. But both of us have worked with them for various things. And they didn't explicitly say don't use AI, but I think it was heavily implied that if it feels like you just had ChatGPT write a script for you, you probably weren't going to get asked to do another thing with them.
Totally. It's a waste of time. I find it's like with learning anything, it's excellent for like a first take. Teach me about the AWS ECS CNI. What do all those acronyms mean? What does it do? And then you zoom in, you use your human smart brain to like actually understand why, because the robot doesn't know why it's spitting out stuff it's read. But for a first take, it's so good for learning everything. I love it.
And for summarize, or just explain to me what a piece of code does. I'm working on a project that I'm hoping to give a talk on at Hashi Talks next year. Remember, I showed you this project earlier.
Any hints, Ned? Do you want to announce it here?
It's called
or no?
PDF Mirror. And it does 2 things. One, it acts as a network mirror for providers. So you can set your Terraform client to check with a network mirror before it downloads a provider plugin from the public internet. And for air-gapped or edge scenarios where bandwidth is a concern, providers are like 200, 300, 400 meg in size for each download. Like, you might want to have those local, right? And that's natively supported in the client. And there are some implementations out there, but I thought I would, work through my own. But the other thing that is not supported in the client today is a network mirror for modules.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
If I wanted to have my modules cached too for the same sort of air-gapped edge reasons, those are much smaller packages because it's usually just Terraform code. But still, like, I don't want to reach out every time I need something. There's no built-in way to do that with the client. So the solution I came up with was you change your source to tack on a host name of where it's of this mirror you've set up, and then it will go get the module from there.
I think that is such a good idea. It's definitely a business. Is this going to become part of Net Enterprises, or is this a MIT free style project?
Yeah, it's going to be an open source project.
It just seems obvious because you iterate on your code and it downloads every single time you do a plan. And like, if I iterate a lot, Ned, I make a tweak and run it again, and it's like, oh, I've downloaded it 50 times. Why am I downloading it 50 times? That seems very wasteful.
Yeah, so Manu's already dealing with this exact same pain. There are some other things you can do. You can set up a local client cache for providers, and then it will actually cache the provider plugins in a local folder.
That makes sense. I guess I'm just usually in GitHub Actions, and it's starting fresh each time.
Yeah, so I mean that's a downside. You could potentially build your own custom images that have like providers pre-allocated in those images, but then you'd have to keep them up to date, and that sounds like a nightmare.
Your sales pitch is great. Sign me up, Ned. Where do you take credit cards?
Sure. Swipe it between my knuckles and so yeah, I've been using Claude Sonnet in GitHub Copilot to write and build it. And what I found is like it's really good at writing Go and TypeScript, but it doesn't really understand the architecture that I have in mind or how I want it to actually function. So I'm providing all the instructions and sort of the overall architecture, and then I'm pushing back when it's making programming decisions I don't agree with. But what's really nice is I can just highlight a piece of code and be like, what is this doing? Why is this here? And it will tell me in plain language why it added that function and what it's doing in the larger context of like a Go file. And that's wonderful. I love it.
Yeah.
I love that
I'm a huge fan. We just saw OpenAI release Codex Max. I think that's the right name. Okay. It's the programming thing from OpenAI that makes ChatGPT. And the Max part is that it can run for 24 hours uninterrupted. Like you give it a task and that sounds ludicrous to me, because if I haven't corrected an agentic programmer bot in 5 minutes, it's definitely doing something wrong. Like you have to just correct it. Absolutely. I like to have the like review mode on where it's like, I want to do this. And I can be like, no, not if that's right. Because just letting it program by itself, the futuristic thing we see that people are saying, oh, I do it today. It generated 50,000 lines of code that are wrong is what it did.
Oh, I see this all the time where it gets itself into a tight little cycle on something that it can't quite figure out. And then it burns minutes or hours trying to work through that cycle. And someone just needs to step in and go, okay, so when you're using Windows PowerShell, you have to double quote the file. It got stuck on that for it was trying to run a Go test and check for coverage. And it failed like 12 times. And I wanted to see how long it would take to figure it out. And it still hadn't figured it out. And so I stopped it and I was like, hey, make a note that you have to double quote Windows files in the Go commands when you're on Windows. And it's done it ever since and it's been fine. But the fact that it just couldn't figure that out, I was like, I can't imagine letting it just spin its wheels for an hour or 24 hours on something so mundane and stupid.
Yeah. You would come back in the morning and it would have opened a bug with Microsoft that PowerShell's broken. It can't. No, it's not. You just don't understand how it works.
I mean, the fact that PowerShell can't figure this out is kind of garbage. But
it should figure out single quotes.
Not even single quotes, just unquoted file names. It should just understand. Bash has no problem with this.
Linux never has spaces. Windows always program files is 2 words for some crazy reason. Microsoft, obviously you should understand spaces in your file paths.
Well, I mean, I don't want to get into a debate about POSIX, but POSIX does support spaces.
I have anti-Windows feelings over here. I'm sorry, I'm prejudiced. Windows is fine.
I have used it for far too long. And every time I try to switch, it's too painful. So I just come crawling back. I should probably do my development in WSL, but I'm already running on a Windows ARM laptop. And I feel like adding WSL to the mix is just too many layers to deal with.
A lot of virtualization going on.
There's a lot of, because it's already using whatever its plugin is to convert like anything that's meant for x86 over to ARM instructions. I can't with the WSL. Not on that specific device. On my regular device, it's still an x86, so it's fine. Oh, wow. So we went a little over than usual, which is fine. Anything else you wanted to talk about? I know you gave a presentation not that long ago. Did you want to mention that, or?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I have anything too exciting coming up. I submitted an RFP to RSA 2026, so fingers crossed for that. It is our bot army in healthcare. We're starting to build the sort of microservices architectures for agentic bots to do all sorts of stuff. And I fingers crossed that gets accepted. And if not, I'll probably end up writing about it. You can find me on letsdodevops.com, and I will just continue putting stuff out there forever, probably.
Oh, so delightful. You can find me at netinthecloud.com. I don't think I've posted anything in a while, so that's on me. And watch for those mini episodes from KubeCon to drop on the Packet Pushers YouTube channel. So it's at Packet Pushers Network, I think is the YouTube handle. They'll start dropping on Monday, and I'll link them on LinkedIn and all that kind of good stuff too. But definitely check them out because I think they're super worthwhile. I got to talk to some very intelligent people who humored me. I appreciate that. Cool. And
thank you to anyone and everyone that stopped by, even if it was just Manu. We appreciate you.
We do. Thank you.
You're the one viewer. Thank you for coming.
We'll be back with our last live stream of the year on the 5th, December 5th.
Yeah, just 2 weeks from now. Not too far.
I know it seems strange, but like once holiday season kicks in, I'm going to be underwater. So
yeah, brains off for a little while. Family time.
So we'll see everybody in 2 weeks. Till then, stay safe, take care of each other, and be kind.
Ditto. Love that.
Bye, y'all.